The next important area to improve your mood and manage depression is learning to handle worry. We are filming today at this beautiful location here at Lake Georgina in the Canterbury High Country, which in itself could have a soothing effect on your worries. However, managing worry requires more than experiencing beautiful scenery. It requires being responsive, proactive, and taking action. We've already discussed managing worry to a level when we looked at its usefulness as a sleep strategy. However, managing worry is not just needed in terms of getting off to sleep, it's needed in everyday life. One of the first things to realize about worry is that worry can be irrational, meaning worry that is not based on reasonable evidence or probability. For example, worrying about contracting a terminal illness could be an irrational worry if there is no evidence to suggest that you actually have one, or no evidence of a probability of contracting such a disease. Asking a person you trust can be helpful in determining whether your worry is irrational or not, as also doing some research about the facts of the matter can help. When feedback from a trusted person and or the research facts disagree with your worries, it is very likely that it is time for you to let those worries go. Otherwise, you'll be spoiling your mood and quality of life in the present by worrying about something that most likely doesn't exist and will not happen. So that's what can be done with irrational worries. But the focus of this section is about managing rational worry. Those ones that are real, that are based on reasonable evidence and probability. So when considering strategies to manage worry, it is good to be mindful that worry is not necessarily a negative thing. Worry can have a positive function in our lives, in that it can alert us to things that need attention in our life, that if we ignored, could result in negative consequences for us. In this way, worry can be like the petrol warning light in your car, alerting you that you are running out of petrol, so that you can go and fill it up and thus avoid getting stranded by running out of petrol. So worry can be positive in that it can help us to avoid negative consequences in our lives. The potential negative thing about worry is that if it is not heeded and responded to, it can grow way past its intended warning function and develop into significant stress and anxiety, which can in turn lower your mood. Before we know it, we can become very stressed, like the mouse running around the wheel, going flat out, but actually getting nowhere. We can also become like someone who is riding a bike in the wrong gear, which makes us use more energy and become more stressed than is actually necessary. The other thing that can happen if worry is left unattended is it can produce a negative emotional weight or heaviness, which can be a factor in low mood. While what you are worried about is not being resolved or worked on, it can contribute to negative feelings. Worry is positive and useful when it spurs you on to solve problems and when it motivates you to deal with what you're worried about. Turning worry into action is a great way to positively manage worry. You have a choice about life's circumstances and difficulties. You can either worry about them, which won't change a thing and cause you stress, or you can take proactive action that will help to either make progress or resolve the problem. Learning to manage worry by problem solving helps us to focus on the present and do something practical and proactive about our concerns. Sometimes it's good to write things down. It helps to empty our head of worries, it helps us to be more objective, and ensures that you won't forget them. So an effective process to manage worry is 1. Ask yourself when you notice yourself worrying, am I worrying or am I problem solving? I need to be problem solving what I'm worrying about. 2, what are the possible solutions for what I'm worrying about and which is the best one? 3, write an action plan and make a start. 4, if you are still worrying, just remind yourself that you're doing all that you can and that you're making progress, you have a sense of control, and decide not to worry about what you can't control. The problem-solving worksheet can help facilitate the problem-solving process.
This is helpful to identify any possible solutions, pros and cons, and then develop an action plan.
An abbreviated process to use if you are busy at work or in public is to identify what your worry and concern is and what your action plan is. The worry plan is a useful tool to do this.
So this is how you could use the worry plan. Say for example your problem was you were struggling to pay your bills. So your problem or concern would be not having enough money. So for your action plan, you could identify options to make more money. You could also consider options to spend less money. You could do a budget, and you could see a budget or financial advisor. So that's an example of how the worry plan could work. Now you write in what is relevant to you and your situation. Then after you've done this, every time you notice yourself worrying about the problem again, just say to yourself, what's my action plan? And stay focused on that, which will bring a greater sense of control and progress.
So if you notice you are worrying while you are busy at work or in public, you could say to yourself, what is my action plan for what I'm worried about? And mentally make a plan in your head and start making progress as soon as possible. I know that as you can manage worry better in your life, it will help you to be more responsive and proactive in dealing with problems, and you'll be less likely to experience unwanted consequences, stress and anxiety, which can lower your mood.
Now, if you feel you need more than this program right now, you can call one of the numbers on the screen for someone to talk to.